Hey, what's going on? Thanks for checking out this video. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Shanif. I'm the founder of Locusive, did a couple of other startups in the past, and I'm going to try to start doing a few more video productions going forward. I feel like videos are a really good way to connect with folks and keep them updated. And so this video, I wanted to produce a little bit of a update, really, on what I've been up to for the past, let's say, 9 or 10 months, what I've learned, and how I'm going to apply that learning going forward. Now it's almost 2024, and I've spent the past 10 months, let's say, trying to find a problem that I really thought was big enough to solve by building a business around it. You've probably heard the trope that most startups fail after building something that nobody wants. And I've gone through that myself. And so I really wanted to make sure that in whatever I do next, I was working on something that had legs, that had longevity. So I've spent a lot of time this year looking for problems that are big enough that people are willing to pay for and that I have conviction in, and also problems that I'm passionate about solving. And so I've done a little bit of work to try to put together everything I've learned and putting it into this video just as a way to communicate what I've been up to. And hopefully it might help somebody out there. So over the past 10 months, I've done consulting as a way to understand what people are willing to pay for and what problems that they're having. I've built an MVP around a chatbot that lets businesses connect their data to their internal data to tools like ChatGPT. I built APIs, and I've also done a lot of customer discovery and interviews. And all of these have sort of congealed into learnings about a particular space that I'm going to dive deeper into and hopefully build a real business around. And that space is essentially, how do you make sure that SaaS users, software users of enterprise software, get the most value they can out of their tools without overwhelming the company that produces the software. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the space, enterprise software is complex. Doesn't always need to be, but a lot of times it is. It's complex, it's complicated, and a lot of enterprise software companies maintain these customer success teams, or CS teams. And a lot of times these are actually separate from customer support teams. Customer support is dedicated to helping customers solve technical issues or getting the most, solving problems, whereas customer success is a little bit more proactive, trying to make sure that customers are seeing the most value, a lot of times even showing customers how to use the software or using the software for them so that they can accomplish their goals. Sometimes these are the same function in a company. A lot of times, though, they are different. And what I've learned is that software companies have a lot of trouble getting their users to understand and get the most value out of their software. And I've seen this myself at a lot of the companies I've worked at or that I've built. It's really hard to get people to dedicate the time to learn about your software, understand how it's built, understand how to get the most out of it. And so enterprise software companies today have internal teams of people who are dedicated to helping these customers get the most value. And really, ideally, the idea is if you can get these customers to see a lot of value, they will renew, or they will be upsold or cross-sold so that you can generate more revenue from them. Now, this is really interesting. It's a really well-established business model, but there's a lot of problems when you have to use individual humans to help customers. So for example, if you're a large enterprise software company, you might actually have several thousand customers, and you might not be able to employ enough CSMs, customer success managers, to handle all the requests that come through from these users. A lot of times these users, the customers of the enterprise software companies, want a lot of custom work done. This could look like anything from, can I pull a custom report of how people are using the software on my team, to, hey, can you upload this file for me because I can't figure out how to do it, to, hey, can you help me purchase another seat because I like your software. A lot of these requests are coming in from users who presumably could do a lot of this themselves, but they're being sent to the customer success manager, and the CSM essentially has to work with the customer to accomplish all of these sort of minute tasks that the customer needs to get done. A lot of times the customer doesn't even need these done for himself or herself. They're doing it because their boss needs it or their board needs it. And so it's not like you can just ignore these requests, and it's not like you can just forget about them, because these are very large customers who are using your software, and you need to make sure they're happy so that they come back and renew. But for you as the software developer, as the software company who's producing the software, these are sort of tedious requests. Your CSMs are spending a lot of time spinning their wheels trying to handle these requests, and they're maybe low importance or low value, at least from your perspective. Maybe even from the user's perspective themselves. It's just that these tasks need to get done, and they need to be done well. And so what happens is that your CSMs might end up having to spend a lot of time on these low value tasks. Hey, can you pull this report for me? Or hey, can you help me reset my password? Or hey, can you tell me what this metric means on this particular page? And that means that these CSMs have less time to spend on researching companies or building relationships or coming up with a strategy that will ensure that their accounts will renew for the next month or the next year, a lot of times the next year. So this is a problem because the economy obviously is in a position where people might be cutting a lot of unnecessary services, which might mean that they're cutting software costs. And what you hate to see as a software company is churn. You really don't want to see your paid users or your paid customers go away. So you're employing these CSMs to ensure that you're providing high quality, not service, but maybe proactively showing them how to use the tools that you've built, or even producing a lot of the high value tasks for them. And if these CSMs aren't renewing or leading to renewals, there's a problem. And so this is something that we've heard time and again from lots of different software companies. A lot of times, newer companies might have smaller problems. Hey, maybe I've got all of these features, but my customers don't know how to use them, and they're not looking at my knowledge base. Bigger companies might have bigger problems, but all of these software companies have the same issues, and they keep coming up, and CSM teams are getting overloaded, customers aren't getting serviced in the way that they want, and renewals may be falling by the wayside. We've heard this time and time again, and this is a really interesting area to apply generative AI to, mostly because a lot of the requests that these customers are producing tend to be maybe of the same type or of the same format, where maybe you needed a little bit of human intuition or human intelligence to get them done, but maybe not so much. And generative AI today is in a position where you can actually automate away some of what was previously needed from humans. You've probably used ChatGPT or Claude. You can see that when given the right prompts and given the right instructions, these tools do a pretty good job of reasoning. Now, these tools aren't connected to your internal data. And so by themselves, these tools are not going to be able to help CSM teams and software users solve their needs. But that's sort of where we come in from the company that I'm building. Now, over the past 10 months, I've built a couple of MVPs, all of these designed to connect your internal systems and your internal data tools to generative AI. And what you can start to do is, if you can connect these tools to AI in a way that AI can call these tools and use them, then you've now got the beginnings of a really smart AI-enabled assistant. A lot of people are calling these autonomous agents. Now, you might have heard this term yourself. An autonomous agent is an LLM-powered application that has access to a lot of different tools and basically works with those tools to accomplish a user's request. So you can imagine basically applying this to business. Now, if you've got an assistant that's inside of your software product and your users can talk to it, if it's connected to the right tools and you've built it in a robust enough way, you can allow that assistant to handle some of these users' requests. And these can be complicated requests. An assistant connected to a reporting database, for example, can produce on-demand reports for a user who needs custom reporting. An assistant connected to a user profile database could reset the password for a user. An assistant connected to your sales tools could buy a brand new seat for your software. And so we've actually started building a lot of these capabilities ourselves for our chatbot and our API at Locusive. And now we can start to apply them to more of a business-specific use case, a use case where product developers can provide in-app assistance that should be able to handle a lot of their users' requests. And by doing so, a lot of their CSMs should be able to be freed up to do more strategic work, which will ideally lead to more renewals and upsells. And so the idea is you want to make sure that software users have a really seamless experience, particularly in complicated software like enterprise tools, B2B tools, but that and that seamless experience translates into more renewals, more purchases, more upsells without compromising on the quality of the service that they're getting. And so the idea of an AI-enabled assistant that can help these users accomplish what they need while freeing up CSMs to do more interesting and strategic work is something that I'm really excited about. It's the idea that you've got AI sort of automating a lot of the tedious work that we used to do, AI that's acting sort of as a sidekick or an assistant, or in our case, a concierge for your software users. And that's just exciting to me. I've always loved the idea of using software or hardware to basically provide like a sidekick or a robot assistant to humans. So that's what we'll be focusing on going into 2024. It's this concept of building an assistant that will be able to handle complicated requests from enterprise software users. Now, this won't be easy. This is really, really, really hard to do. These tools, these autonomous agents, have a lot of nuances, and it takes a lot of engineering work to do them well. Now, fortunately, I'm sort of looking forward to the task. I've already been working on a tool like this for the past 10 months. I've got a couple of really smart engineers I've worked with in the past who are helping me build this out. And I've got a lot of the infrastructure already built. And so by working with a handful of customer development partners, what I'm going to be doing is narrowing the focus on maybe 5 or 6 different types of requests that their users are sending quite a bit, focus on getting those 5 or 6 types of requests perfect, and then growing the autonomous agent, the concierge application from there. And by doing this, it's going to allow me to focus a little bit more on building high quality software for maybe a limited use case, getting that use case really good and well done first, and then growing from there. So we'll see how this journey goes. I will keep you guys updated as to my progress. I'll continue to post online. I'll continue to write my monthly updates. But if you're interested in joining me, please hit subscribe or just message me. I'll get you onto our email list, and we'll go from here. Thanks a lot for listening and making it this far. Have a good one.